Hi everybody and welcome back. Today we are going to have a mixed bag of things which I want to discuss with you. First of all, I want to again apologize to you that I'm so scarce in the comment section. We have now progressed from stage 4 load shedding to stage 5, which is absolutely devastating. It means that we now have 2.5 hour power outages and one 4 hour long one. The cycle's 4 hour outage turned into 6 hours today, and we are literally pulling our hair from our heads. There's also a possibility that we'll even go to stage 6 in the next week. Stage 5 is already something we are not used to, and stage 6 will be even more devastating. Anyway, my dear friends, subscribers, viewers, and enemies, those lurking in the shadows ready to pounce, today's video is not a sugary sweet one and will be befitting my mood. So if you have a weak stomach today, I suggest you watch it tomorrow or later in the week. It is also going to be a rather long one, so click out first and go get yourself some tea or popcorn. And if you are listening, just so you can harass me afterwards and send me vile email and comments, go right ahead. You are not doing yourselves or your country any favors. As a matter of fact, you are making things worse. Anyway, let's get on with it. I had about 20 people sending me links to Lady C's last video yesterday, and quite rightly, I fumed, absolutely fumed watching it. Those of you who had walked this road with me for a long while will know that I have been telling you for about 2 years now that the monarch can strip titles and that it has been done before. I can recall at least 2 videos in which I even told you about the princes who had their titles stripped during the First World War. But Lady C, I can recall, disputed it and said in her videos that it cannot happen, that it is Harry's birthright to be a prince. No, it is not. He became a prince as the grandson of Queen Elizabeth II and had this title bestowed on him at the discretion of Queen Elizabeth II. I told you that all it took was a letters patent from the monarch to Parliament, Parliament's approval, and it is done. But I received email after email, DM after DM, telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not British, but a racist South African. Some email even went so far as to say that they hope I get raped and killed. Some saying that Lady C knows what she's talking about because she moves in those circles and that I'm not a real journalist like Neil Sean or a historian or blah, blah, blah. It carried on, and here is the clanger. I can easily say that 99% of those vile and aggressive email I received when mentioning anything like this or talking about Prince Charles came from British women. Nice going, good for you. Like I said, you are not doing yourselves or your country any favors. And the love I had for Britain, calling it my second home, had diminished to the point where I only love my friends and family there and do no longer care whether I ever set foot there again. Yes, that is what you did to the beautiful country and its beautiful people I loved so much. So my question to you now is, how many of you are now going to apologize to me after you heard Lady C say exactly what I've been telling you all along? Are you going to apologize to Paula M, who had been telling you the exact same thing and who had received the exact same abuse? I explained the difference between a royal title and a peerage title numerous times in older videos. Are you going to apologize to me now that you heard the exact same thing from Lady C? Of course you won't, but I truly hope you learned your lesson and in future let your own fingers do the walking through Mr. Google before calling people vile names and wishing death on them. The only difference between what the new proposal before Parliament will make to what can already be done is that it streamlines the process and includes peerage titles. No wonder certain people of the gentry are quaking in their boots. Anyway, let's leave that one aside for now. As far as titles for Archie and Lilibet are concerned, I think we need to get those letters to Buckingham Palace out as soon as possible. For those living in Britain, please write your letters and mail it off directly to the palace. For those of you living outside of Britain, I suggest you send yours via DM or message it to the Royals' social media pages. I made an inquiry to Buckingham Palace's Media Liaison Office and the reply was that the King will make the matter of titles, including that of Archie and Lily, clear in a statement after the mourning period. So I do not think we have much time to make our position on the matter clear. And remember, your silence will cost you. I'm telling you again, if those two children get the titles of Prince and Princess, the family will get their IPP status back, which means your tax pounds and dollars will pay for their security and other things. And no, this does not come from my wisdom alone. I have discussed this via email with someone who had been close to the court for many years in the past. If those children get titles, the family will get their IPP status because there will be three persons in the line of succession with royal titles in that one family. It is simple. Yes, as simple as that. Then I get feedback from people saying, oh, but it does not affect us really because only £1 or so of our annual tax money is going to the royal family. So what? Well, my dears, here is your so what. Every single cent leaving your country is 1 cent less in circulation in your country. Not only will IPP status mean that governments, including that of the United States, will be funding their security when or wherever they are, but as Prince and Princess, they will also be entitled to have their education funded by the Crown or then the Privy Purse. More pounds leaving Britain. Harry will likely then also be getting his annual allowance from his father back. More pounds leaving Britain. Clothing and travelling costs each time they visit Britain will be paid for by the Crown. Some more pounds out of circulation in the United Kingdom. Are you getting it yet? Yes, my dears, when money leaves the country to import goods, it generates a profit when resold, and that adds to your GDP or gross domestic product. But what will you get in return when money leaves the country to fund Harry and his family? Nothing. 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 You can just as well take some of your money and burn it to ash. Now, Harry and Andrew wore their uniforms during the vigils in Britain. I showed you the legislation pertaining to uniforms, screenshot directly from the UK government website. No lies, no assumptions, nothing. It is what it is, and I did not write it. So the only way they could have worn those uniforms without breaking the law is if the monarch gave them permission to do so. End of story. But now I have to read 1001 excuses. Oh, it is out of respect for the Queen. No, it is not out of respect for the Queen. It is actually disrespecting the Queen. Because what did she decide? What did she do during Prince Philip's funeral and the Jubilee? She said no. No, you are not wearing those uniforms. And if the rest of you want to balk at it and cry and fight about it, none of you will wear uniforms. End of story, done and dusted. And why? Because Her Majesty knew how disrespectful it would be and look to other veterans who do not have the privilege of having a monarch for a mother or grandmother. By giving this permission, the new king showed us one of the following things. Either that he sees this lying in state as a sideshow, a performance, or a circus, and thereby disrespecting each and every person who lined up for 12 to 13 hours to honor the Queen. Or he showed us that he will do what he wants when he wants to. I can't read the man's mind, so you decide for yourselves which one it is. So then, the next excuse is thrown at me. He is in mourning. He is stressed. He does not care about these insignificant things right now. Well, that may very well be true. At least that he is mourning the death of his mother and may be tired and stressed. But, my dears, to say no takes exactly the same amount of time as saying yes. Go practice and time yourselves. Both words take but a split second, and yes actually has one letter more. Then the other laughable excuse is, oh, but it is just for the vigil. At least it's only for the vigil. Okay, so you know how it goes. Give the pinky and it will grab the whole hand. Today it will only be the vigil. Tomorrow it will only be for the weekend. And the next thing you know, you will have Harry and his Meghan half in, half out, just like they wanted, and you will see the woman who disrespected the Queen and called the entire Britain racist and accused everyone from journalists on the Royal Rota to others of harassment and hatred, wearing one of Her Majesty's tiara with a broad fuck you smile on her face. What will you do then? Also say, oh, it is just for one event. Do you think it will be fair to the likes of Catherine and Sophie, who had to step up and pick up the slack after the Harkles left? And what about Princess Anne, a woman who once again topped her brother with the number of engagements in the past year? Do you think it is fair to them? Or do you think it is incredibly hurtful to them? Am I saying that this is what will definitely happen? Of course not. What I am saying is that it can happen and likely will unless you step up and speak out. It had been conveyed to me by the same person who told me things which had been proven to be true many, many times, that Charles had wanted Harry and Meghan back since the day they left. Yes, there had been anger and harsh words and hurt and spite and trying to avoid one another, phones slammed down and calls avoided. Yes, that is all true, just like it is also true that there had been numerous near explosive arguments between Charles and William and other royals about the Harkles. But does that mean that when he, King Charles, has to choose between his son and the peasants, in other words, the general public, that he will choose the people and not his son? I am not so sure. Nothing in Charles's past has ever indicated to me that he will do so. Yes, it is unfair and not right to compare the new king to his daughter-in-law Meghan, but one thing they have in common is that Charles gets what Charles wants, just like Meghan gets what Meghan wants. Now, tomorrow will be our last goodbye to Her Majesty the Queen, and like you all, it really hurts to think of her as gone forever. But she is. Her soul had left her body 10 days ago, and we are entering an era of uncertainty, not just brought on by Her Majesty's death, but due to many other things happening around the world. And it scares me to think of a man with the power that King Charles has, setting a precedent for laws to be ignored, for injustices to continue, and for the less honourable and less honest to rise. I saw a headline saying that the King will put the axe to Andrew, Harry, and Beatrice as councillors of state. That, my dears, is nothing but logic, because Andrew is retired, Harry does not live in the United Kingdom, and Beatrice has a career. But do not let that fool or appease you. That is of lesser consequence, and Anne, Edward, Sophie, etc., had been acting as counsellors, standing in for Her Majesty the Queen over the past year anyway. Now, talking about power and injustice, yes, I told you this video was going to be a long one. Over the last few days, some of you may have heard about what happened to Alex Belfield. Yes, indeed, he was given a 5.5 year prison sentence for stalking. Stalking without ever leaving his home, so-called cyber stalking, when all he did was send letters and tell the truth. We heard about Trevor Colt losing his subscription part of his channel due to a complaint and all kinds of other things happening to him. Now, I believe a part of his video was used on another platform and blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm not going to hesitate to say that as things continue the way they are, we will most likely be knocked off and lose our channels one by one. So, to you who wish to continue following me, if my voice is ever to go silent on this channel, I do have another called Bookworm on the Case. But if what happened to Yankee Wally ever happens to me and my IP address gets banned, I'll continue to talk to you over on my website at bookwormonthecase.co.za. I do, however, not wish to lose you, your support, and therefore I'm going to prepare for the possibility that it may happen by expanding my presence not only on my website but on my other channel and other platforms. As I'm one person and do not have a whole team behind me, it may mean that I'll post 1 or 2 videos less here on this channel per month, although this channel will remain my priority for as long as I can hang on to it, or for as long as I'm able to keep up with making videos. For now, I'll also inform you each time I post elsewhere by providing a link to that forum or platform. However, I just want to make sure that you know that should I suddenly go quiet, you can hop on over to my website for more information and do not have to wait for others to inform you what happened. My website is something I pay for monthly and is not dependent on the management and discretion of anybody else. In the meantime, let's just carry on as we always have until we can't anymore. And let's hope that that will still be for a very, very long time. Once again, I thank you for being here and thank you for your support. I will see you on Wednesday. Out of respect for the Queen, I shall not make a video on Monday, although I may post something pre-recorded. On Tuesday, my daughter is due back at the specialist for a checkup, so I'll be back with a proper chat only on Wednesday, if all goes well and I remain spared to do so. So, my dear friends, until we meet again on that next video, please take good care of yourselves and your loved ones. Bye.